You are in the jungle. I'm Matt Edwards. It is Christmas Eve morning as I record this. I hope everyone is happy, healthy, doing well. We cannot say that for the Baltimore Ravens. They are in trouble right now, going on the COVID list left and right. We'll talk about that in a second, but I do hope everyone has a great Christmas Eve. Happy New Year. Of course, I'll talk to you before that. But as I mentioned on Monday's podcast with Jared Smalley, which a lot of people listen to, that's what happens when you have popular and excellent, insightful people like Jared on. I was happy about that. If you want to go back and listen to that, talking about us beating Denver, which of course feels like forever ago at this point, even though it was only 5 days ago. But as I said in that episode, there's a lot of carryover before those games. The Bengals really, I don't know that they looked that different. They just executed better. I feel like the Bengals, for the most part, are in that position where they can play their game, but it's about avoiding the mistakes and doing what they want to do, to use an old cliche, impose their will rather than wait and see what happens and kind of react. Look, I hope everyone's happy and healthy this holiday season. That is not the case for the Baltimore Ravens. They've got guys going on the COVID list left and right, and that's one of the excuses. The more I look at Baltimore coming to Cincinnati this week and the Bengals having a chance to go, 4-1 in the division, really put a chokehold on the AFC North. The Ravens were battered with injuries before COVID issues started creeping up around the NFL again. Now it's even worse. Baltimore only had 13 defensive players practice on Thursday. You need 11 on the field. They only had 2 extra guys out there on Thursday between injuries and COVID concerns. My point here is the Bengals have no excuse this week. As much as this is a huge showdown, and it really could be for the AFC North, the Bengals, for the first time in a long time, are the ones catching a break on the injury front. Baltimore is battered. They've lost 3 straight games. No one's really talking about that. The Ravens have lost 3 in a row. And look, they played the Packers close, and that's great. Before that, they lost to the Browns and Steelers. This division is tight. And it's probably going to be a close game on Sunday because that's the way it always ends up, right? Although in the first time they played, it did not end up that way. But it seems like the Bengals, really outside of the Baltimore and Pittsburgh games, love to play close games this year. We'll see what happens. But for the first time in a long time, one, the Bengals are not the ones who are kind of catching the bad breaks, catching the bad luck. And 2, the Bengals just have no excuse. Oh, we didn't even mention Lamar Jackson is probably not going to play. The MVP from 2 years ago, who, say what you want about him, is a playmaker and confuses the hell out of defenses. The Bengals have no excuse to not go out there on Sunday and really put a vice grip on the AFC North. I mean, Baltimore is just beaten. They're battered. The Bengals are the better team. I think everyone knows that. Baltimore is also 3-4 on the road this year. I don't know that they're quite, and you can't, a lot of people, you want to rip on Baltimore. I get it. It's fun. It's not even a situation where there's a lot that they can do much about it. They've been so beat up with injuries and now with Lamar Jackson and now with COVID. I don't know what you do. Credit to them for still having a real shot to win the AFC North considering all they've went through. But if you're a predator, you don't feel bad for your prey. You go in there and you finish them off, and that's what the Bengals need to do on Sunday. And again, have no excuse not to do. The Bengals haven't been great at home. We all know that. The Ravens haven't been good on the road. We know that. They're 3-4 on the road and nearly lost to Chicago last month in Chicago. They have not been great on the road. No excuses for the Bengals this week. That's the point there on this Christmas Eve episode of In the Jungle. Again, doing 2 episodes until the Bengals are no longer in contention. Hopefully, I'm doing these all the way through February. Wouldn't that be nice? Something that I mentioned the Ravens are kind of down and out. Yet, old Wink Martindale, the Ravens defensive coordinator, Wink, that's some sort of name for a grown man to go by, especially one who tries to act tough, right? Your friend named Wink should have thick rim glasses and subscribe to National Geographic, not be a defensive coordinator in a cold weather East Coast city. But old Wink Martindale made a little bit of a splash earlier in the week. He said he would not double or even triple team Jamar Chase. They did that to Davante Adams on Sunday, and Wink went ahead and pretty much said, Davante Adams is a top 2 receiver in the NFL, and he's not number 2. That's fine. No argument there. But why throw fuel on the fire here? Jamar Chase in their first matchup in October 8 catches, 201 yards, a touchdown. The 21-year-old rookie torched Baltimore in the 41-17 win. And I'm not going to tell Wink what he should or shouldn't do when it comes to defensive strategy. Right? I'm not going to tell any NFL head coach you should double or triple or quadruple or single cover, whatever you want to do, anyone. I have no doubt that me or anyone else sitting in front of a microphone, maybe like Rex Ryan, is about the only guy who can keep his foot out of his mouth when you're talking about something like that. But maybe don't throw fuel on the fire. And I'm all for it. I'm all for the Bengals Pro Bowl snubs. I'm a guy who loves seeing chips stacked on my team's shoulders. I hope DJ Reader goes out there, Pro Bowl snub, and kills people on Sunday. I love adding fuel to the fire. But if you're Baltimore, what are you thinking about this guy? It's bad enough his name's Wink. And now he's got to add even more pressure to your team. When you're on the verge of not even having enough guys to field a defense, you don't poke the bear, Wink. By the way, to add on to that, no one, not Patrick Mahomes, not Aaron Rodgers, not nobody, has put up more points on Baltimore this year than the Cincinnati Bengals when they dropped 41 on them in Baltimore on October 24th in a 41-17 win. I haven't really paid much attention to what they're saying in Baltimore about that. It's one of those things, and it's kind of nice. It took a little heat off of, or I don't want to say heat, but it was nice to have another fun soundbite this week other than Joe Burrow saying there's nothing to do in Cincinnati. He's not necessarily wrong, too. If you're 25 years old and you don't enjoy getting hammered every night, which you can't as a professional athlete whose brain is his best weapon, what are you going to do? Go to the aquarium? Give Joe a break. But back to Wink. Fuel to the fire. Love it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons I love the Bengals this week. You got the Pro Bowl snubs. You got Wink over here. You've got no excuses with the COVID stuff. I don't wish COVID things on anyone or anybody or anything, any team. But you got to play the hand you're dealt. Right now, the Bengals seem to be sitting pretty with that hand. Can you tell I'm kind of disorganized today? A few too many pops last night at the Christmas party. All right, the third thing I want to get into here, which is the big picture. And that's that the Bengals have a chance on Sunday to clinch a winning season for the first time since 2015. And I've said all year, I just wanted them to go into the month of December with a shot to make the playoffs. Make the playoffs. Be in that in the hunt graphic. We're going to wake up tomorrow, Christmas morning, and the Bengals are going to be in first place. We might wake up Monday with the Bengals having that vice grip that I mentioned on the AFC North. And I know it gets kind of repetitive on here, but I just want to say, enjoy the ride. We all remember 2005, the Bengals went 11-5, and we all thought that it's going to be like this for a decade. It was not. It wasn't bad. It was a lot better than the previous decade. But enjoy the ride. How do they win on Sunday? My biggest thing is keep that Baltimore defense on the field, right? They've got 13 guys practicing Thursday. They're not going to have a lot of reserves, backups. They're not going to be able to rotate as they normally would. Keep them on the field. Keep them gassed. Maybe you throw in a little hurry up from time to time. Wear them down. Get Joe Mixon 25 touches. You've got to keep Baltimore's defense out there. Keep those big guys huffing and puffing. That cold Cincinnati December air, that is key one. Key number two, have a big lead late. And this is what the Bengals did in the first go-round. People forget I think it was 14-0 in the fourth quarter. They weren't blowing Baltimore out until later in that game. And the Bengals have a habit, as many NFL teams do, of playing close games. You don't want to let this game come down to the leg of Justin Tucker. And if Lamar is out, there's zero reason for the Bengals not to be up 2 scores in the fourth quarter, by the way. Make Baltimore throw the football. I don't care if it's Tyler Huntley or Lamar Jackson or if they bring Joe Flacco back. Baltimore just has a thing where their quarterbacks, when push comes to shove and it's crunch time, they typically don't have guys who are great at not turning the football over when they've got to drive it downfield. Make them throw the football. How do you do that? The only way you're going to make them do that is if you're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter. You don't want to be up. If it comes down to Justin Tucker, you're in trouble. And I know that on paper, the Bengals should, again, with all the guys out, and especially if Lamar's out, the Bengals should win by 2 touchdowns. But should Aaron Rodgers have not done the same last week? I mean, we see this every single week in the NFL. You know how it is. Teams come to play, and especially teams when guys like me are sitting here saying, hey, you know what, Baltimore's down and out, they get a little fired up. But get that big lead. Don't let Justin Tucker get too involved. Take him out of the game early. I know it's funny to say that talking about a kicker, but he can make them from, you get into Cincinnati territory if you're Baltimore and you're giving yourself a chance to score points every time. Make him throw the football. That's my main thing there. And then I was talking about this the other day. My third thing here for Zach Taylor, don't overthink it. That's my big criticism as him. Don't overthink what you're doing on offense. You've got deep threats, throw it deep. You've got a Pro Bowl running back. Don't give it to Samaje Perine on every third down. You've got several weapons out there. Utilize them. Play to their strengths. You got Jamar Chase, not so that you can run jet sweeps and hand the ball off to him. Go deep. Throw a deep shot every quarter until you've got that big lead. Then sit on it. You don't need to get cute. You don't win the AFC North by being cute in December. It's never been that way. It's probably not ever going to be that way. You can win games like that in September and October, and the Bengals have, and the Bengals did. And they'll probably, I'm not saying you can't be fancy. You can be fancy, but you can't be cute. So those are my three things. I don't know how I'm going to produce this show. The second show of the week, kind of going down the stretch here. I'll try to have fun with it. I'll see what I can do. This one is kind of weird because it's the first one, and it falls on Christmas Eve. So, free podcast. What are you going to do? So those are the things. Keep Baltimore's defense on the field. 1, have a big lead late, a 2-score lead late. Even just like a 10-point lead is fine. Really, anything more than 3, and I'll feel pretty good about. Keep Justin Tucker out of it. And then 3, don't overthink it. Sometimes with these games, I feel like Zach Taylor is using the first half to experiment, right? We're out of experiment time. We can do that next year, but right now it's crunch time. Do what's worked this season, and you're going to win the football game. My prediction, I'll take the Bengals to win it 31-22, clinch that winning season, and, potentially set yourself up to have a game with the Chiefs on Sunday next week where you could be playing for some seeding in the AFC. Chiefs have COVID issues of their own. They have the Steelers. You want to talk about the team getting a break. Of course, Pittsburgh gets a break when the best team in the AFC starts having a few other star players have COVID issues. We'll see what happens, man. I don't care what happens elsewhere. Get the Bengals a win, and we'll make everything else work from there. It's fun. It's fun to be playing meaningful football in December, and I can't wait to talk about it on Monday when we come back here, so be sure to tune in. That's just 3 days from now. It is Friday, December 24th. These holidays, they screw with your head, man. You don't know what day it is at any given time. All right, quick episode. It was fun. We'll see you here next week. Again, I got the Bengals 31-22 over the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. We'll see what Wink and company can stir up and try to make something happen. I can't wait to see him eat those words. All right, it's been fun. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you next week. It is In the Jungle.